What's going on, guys? You're listening to the Local Play Only podcast. I'm Phil,
I'm Cam.
And I'm Andrew.
and we're back again in a weird, unorthodox
Yeah,
video.
what is this?
chat.
Is this online podcast number
This has to be number 3 or 4.
3? No, is it? We
Yeah,
had we had
the
this
D&D
one,
and then we had one before that. And
Unfortunately, yep.
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, who knows how many more there'll be, right? We're gonna lose count according to how the world's going.
18 months, man.
18
I'm
months.
missing hanging out. 18 months to 2 years. That's what they're saying now.
Dear God.
That's fine. We'll all be dead.
Maybe all this means is that the advancement in like online communications is going to go through the roof. Like in like 4 weeks from now, we're going to get finally a video chat that actually lets me place the boxes and change sizes of people and that kind of stuff. Right now, it seems like it's getting
It'll
worse.
be a D&D one, you know it. Like it'll be a specialty D&D video.
I don't know why they
That'd
don't
be
have
great.
that already. I'm
Yeah.
surprised.
Like Discord, people can play. Like they've been working on Discord D&D extensions where you can like roll the dice and everything inside Discord, which is one thing.
That'd be awesome.
But the video chat in Discord's also still pretty behind, so it wouldn't really work for that. But that would be very cool. So I guess we're just going to start by talking about what we've done the past week. We'll start with what do you guys want to start with? Games we played. We all played
Yeah,
video
what
games.
we've been playing.
I'll start. I'll
Okay,
get this out of the
You start us up.
I played Animal Crossing.
I also played.
Surprise,
some of that.
surprise.
My house has been
Like
a
a
lot of Animal Crossing. Yeah, me and you are both over 90 hours now, which is a fair amount.
Yeah.
I have taken
That's
more.
just
There's been a
crazy.
few more days this week where I haven't played much. Like there's been a couple days where I just went on, did my daily stuff, and then I kind of like stopped playing it for the day, and I just spent the day watching stuff instead. But I still have something to do every single day.
You both put in the chat that you like got to the credits. Like, how did you
Yeah.
do that?
Actually, there's
The
a fun
main-
story
oh.
leading up this too.
For you or
Yeah, you can explain how the main credits work, then I'll tell you the fun story.
Okay, so the main goal of the island, there's the cool dog. His name is KK. He's a cool little dog guy who basically is their musician. He does every genre of music, so you can get his music. And the goal is to have your island so popular that he wants to go there and do a concert. And the credits roll when you actually get him to do the concert in your island.
How does he like? Is it just once you reach a certain point?
It's
he
it's
comes,
after
or-
a certain point, and you have to get your island to a certain level of good. Basically, there's an island rating
Yeah.
from 1 to 5, and you have to have at least a 3 for him to come. And that's based on how many decorations you put around, how many islanders you have, like a bunch of different stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's like the end
Okay.
game.
So
that's
basically,
kinda
you pretty up your island, and then he's like, "Man, I wish I could go to this." And it's just like signed KS or something like that. And then the guy's like, "Oh my god, do you think it's him?" And then you invite him to
And
that.
then after that, you
it was
get
good.
the option to start terraforming your island. So you get to start actually not just putting furniture, but like moving how the stuff works on your island, like making water, destroying land, making cliffs, all that kind of stuff. That's like the end game
Okay.
considered. But the fun story is after you finish the game and the KK slider came the one time, every single Saturday night he does a concert. Meg
Aw.
hasn't beaten the game yet though. She came to my island on Saturday. She's like, "Cool, I'll watch this dog while he's doing the concert." She got her end credits by watching his concert on my island by accident on a Saturday night. She got the end credits on her game because she hadn't done it yet.
Did she get the terraforming now?
I have no idea. Today would be the day she knows, and I don't think she's played it yet today.
Oh, okay.
She's been really into.
That's,
That's
that's
interesting.
cheating. You could just start hopping
That's
to
a-
someone island and get.
That's what I want to figure out. There's no way it works like that, but it was really funny that she got the credits though. But yeah, she's been playing a shit ton of Horizon now, so she hasn't picked it up yet today. I guess she didn't. Want to
How
turn
is
up
she
some-
liking it?
Horizon or Animal Crossing?
Yeah.
New Horizon or Horizon Zero Dawn?
Horizon Zero Dawn. I guess they both have Horizon in the name.
Yeah, that's the joke there.
But no, she seemed to be liking it. As I said, she's always been a big Tomb Raider fan. The game has a
Because
lot
she was
of
kind of
things.
hesitant.
Yeah, but she's hesitant every time I tell her to play a game. She was hesitant when I first told her to play
Like-
Pokemon like 12 years
It's
ago.
like me with anime. Like Cam's always
Oh,
recommending
every
me
single
anime,
time.
and then I'm like,
He's
nah,
like,
it's gonna be
"Nah."
stupid.
And then like 3 days later, he's like, "Yo,
And then
Cam,
it's
have you
off.
seen this sick fucking anime, dog?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I did, Birch. I told you to watch it." Also, speaking
I usually
so,
do it on purpose.
Speaking so, if you haven't watched the newest My Hero episode, you should watch that because it's pretty epic.
I have not. I'm still on that episode.
It's so epic. It's all about endeavor.
I know.
Cam, what if
Oh,
I've,
okay.
I've been playing Animal Crossing. And that's pretty much it as far as games go. My main thought here, I played the beginning of Spider-Man actually. Phil let me borrow Spider-Man for PlayStation 4. I played the whole beginning part where you had to beat Kingpin and all that kind of stuff. I liked
Yeah.
the game. I actually didn't like the combat that much, but that's probably something I'll like more as I get into it. But you can't beat swinging in a Spider-Man game. Like that's the best part.
Have you played any of the Batman games? Like, did you ever get in?
I played the Batman games, and at the time I thought they were very Assassin's Creed like, because similar combat about countering that kind of stuff, which I'd played a lot.
Yep.
Yeah,
It works well for like a cinematic game kind of thing, like especially with Spider-Man, it flows really well because you have like the super senses and all that kind of crap. It makes a lot of sense, the Peter Tingle or whatever they call it. So it works well. I just don't ever like that combat that much. There's a lot going on at one time, and I think as I get more skills, though, I'll kind of get into it a little bit more. But the main thought process here,
more hectic.
the main process here is that there's only 5 days left until Final Fantasy VII comes out, which will take up all my time. And Meg just started playing Horizon, so after 5 days from now, I'm going to be taking the PlayStation 4 a lot to play Final Fantasy. So I figured in the next 5 days, I'll let her have the PlayStation to play as much Horizon as she can, hopefully beat it. But if not, I'll still give her some time each day to get on there and play it. Because I'll be playing.
We have 2 PlayStations.
Yeah, I'll be playing a lot of Final Fantasy into the night though too, so it shouldn't affect her that much. But that's my thought process. So Spider-Man's not going anywhere after Final Fantasy. Maybe that'll be the first one I beat after that, or I'll pick up a game from the backlog too. Like I haven't quite decided. I should really go through. We should all go through and make a list of our backlog games, as like just something to do.
I don't want to. I could open my PS2 shelf and go this whole shelf.
I know, but we should just like try it though, see what happens.
I mean, that's been one of my biggest goals for kind of this time off. Like I've just been working through the backlog. Like this week I've played I think on the last podcast I discussed playing Days Gone and Uncharted Lost Legacy, but I decided to pick up Evil Within 2.
Yeah,
and that was a game. Yeah, that was a game that you and Charles had both suggested that I would enjoy, and I liked the first one. And I beat that game within the span of like 2 or 3 days, and it was super fun and enjoyable. I just put it off for so long, and I don't know if I would have played it, at this point in time if it wasn't for the quarantine.
Yep.
I still want to play. I'm playing through Persona 5 right now.
That's a good quarantine game.
Yay.
I've put about 20 hours into it,
Oh my god,
which has been really nice. Just because I got it last year, and as you both know, it's kind of a running joke on the podcast that I would play like one palace like every few months. But I've almost completed 2 palaces since I got back into it, and I'm just having a lot of fun.
Now, do you feel outdated now though, because now everyone else is playing Royale, or
not everyone?
I mean, my thing is that I don't really know what's missing, right? Like I haven't really looked up any of the differences with Royale. So, I spent $25 on this game. And I've already I'm at 34 hours or so, and I know I have a long way to go. So I think that the value is really there for me. Maybe in the future, like if I ever decide I do want to replay it, Royale will be there. I just don't know if I'll ever want to replay.
It'll go down in price
plus hour game.
My big thing is I was really tempted just to buy Royale because I don't own Persona 5. So I was tempted to buy Royale because it'd be a good use of my money. The thing is right now, I think everyone in the world right now is a little bit fearful of the cost of things because I know how much money I'm making right now, but I don't know how much like Meg's making. I don't know how much money I'll be making in 3 weeks from now. Like we don't know how long this is going on for. So as much as I can say right now, I have like a pretty decent amount of money. Like who knows how long that'll last for. So I'm a little more worried. Final Fantasy is obviously a guaranteed buy. Like that's just part of life. Like I have the money for that for sure. But then, like, if I beat Final Fantasy in a week and I'm like, hey, maybe now it's time for Persona, that's like, $160 within like 2 weeks.
That's why I think that we need to look at the backlogs and just kind of go through some games. We have all this time, and at least for me, I know that I bought a lot of games just impulsively or things that I was like, oh, I'll get to some, or did. So now we have all this time, maybe not a lot of money for video games at least, and I at least have a pretty big backlog of games that I can go through, and I might as well do it now.
Yeah, that's right. I actually genuinely think that I'll make like a backlog list. I think we should all just do it and maybe post on Instagram or something like that, like a big list of all our backlogs. Not every single game you own.
How many characters are you allowed?
Not like every game you own that you should be playing. Just make like a backlog list of like what are your top 10 games that you should be playing. That you
like
before.
Current.
Well, what I actually do is I'll use Beat, and for the games that I do want to play, I'll kind of rank them based on like how long the games are. So like if I want to play Beat, I'll put it at like 10, So some of the quicker games I'm gonna just kind of bang out just because I can.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I really want to beat Far Cry 5. I only did one of the islands on there, but that's a good game just to throw on some music, some podcasts, and just kind of play. Just gameplay wise, I'm not really that invested in the story. And there's a couple of other games on Xbox that I do want to complete. And
See, this
now that
this
we
isn't
have
a
the
good
time.
this isn't a good example of like a backlog game I wanted to beat. But they did have Assassin's Creed Odyssey on sale. The deluxe edition's on sale for like $25, while the regular's still $79 on the PlayStation Network.
Yep.
Nice.
Same thing though with Final Fantasy coming out. I don't need anything. But even there was a $79 one that was like all the like Black Flag that I don't have for PS4 anymore. Odyssey, Origins, Rogue, Unity had all of them for $79, which was a pretty good deal because I've been meaning to I wanted to play Origins and Odyssey. And I always just remember
Those games would be good to play right
Black
now.
Flag
They're
was
both good.
Black Flag. I had it was the very first game I owned on PlayStation 4 because I had it on PS3, and then you traded in for like the $10 I think it was at the time, and they gave you like the updated copy. And man, that was also when I had the free trial of PlayStation Music, and I was just listening. My song was
Avicii song.
"Wake Me Up" by Avicii was my whale hunting song. So as I'd go on epic adventures to go hunt whales and great white sharks and that kind of stuff, I'd always play that. But I had just like this like long playlist of my basically just Assassin's Creed Black Flag playlist, and it was fantastic. That was a good, memorable gaming time for me.
I mean, I think that would be a good project for today. Just kind of going over maybe like the 5 games we want to play during quarantine, and maybe seeing like lengths and things like that.
Not just for gaming though. I think one of
post.
the most important things about this is because me and Meg did this in the past couple of days, is like lists and organization are actually so key for quarantine in general, or else you just find so many days you just do nothing. I was honestly tempted. I know that like going out or even ordering online isn't always the smartest, but I was honestly tempted to finally spend the $1,000 and refloor my house, like the basement, because like I just have so much time. And like right now we have the money. I still have $700 in Home Depot cards from Christmas. And like when other time am I going to want to spend hours, you know, even like with my back injury, stuff like that, I can't do that much, but I could do like 10 square feet every single day and just go down and do it. And like over the next like 3 weeks, it'll get done and the whole thing would look better. And it's just about having to go and actually buy it, which is the big difficult part. Cause I don't trust buying stuff like big projects like that online. I have difficulty doing, but even Home Depot, though, you can call them and order it and then go pick it up for the front. So
I try to at least to keep myself from not being bored. I do try to have some lists of things that I want to do each day, and there's a bunch of like. It's really bringing me back to, you know, when I was younger and I had a lot of free time to watch TV or play video games, and I have so many shows that either people have recommended to me, heard about, that I've been like day, but I've never really had the time.
like how
And
you
I'm
watch
just
My
like,
Hero.
okay, I'm gonna go through this.
Yeah, so I kind of this will lead into the next part of what we've been doing the past week too. One of the things you just said, you had more time to do these things, like how you watched My Hero, right? That was something you probably wouldn't have watched if we didn't have the quarantine.
Absolutely. I definitely wouldn't.
If you only have 3 hours a day for free time, right? It's kind of risky wanting to watch an entire show, being like, I only got 3 hours today. Like, do I want to watch the show? I don't know if it's that good. I've never seen it, or do I want to, you know, play this game that I know is good and I've been enjoying it? Like, it's harder to do when you only have so much time in a day.
It's very true, and in a way, I do kind of miss like the structure of how things were, like going to the gym, working, and then having like dinner and then free time after. But now it's just kind of like a free for all where I just have to fucking sit at home and watch TV and play video games. I'm not going to complain about that.
God damn it!
But as we discussed,
Lucky
like, if we didn't have these hobbies, man, like it would be brutal. Like if you're not always video games, man, I don't know what I would be doing right now.
Books.
The channel's also a good hobby too. Obviously, we saw that joke. I think it was one of the first days of quarantine where it was like a PSA. It was like, listen, I know that you're like 30-year-old white men, but please do not feel the need to start a podcast. I'm like, no, we did it.
And it was like
earlier.
25 to 32-year-old white men. And it's just like, oh shit. That's
Once they have nothing to do, like, well, I guess we might as well talk about nothing to do on a podcast. But no, you know, at least we started it before the
we
quarantine.
were doing it first.
I do want to ask Birch, and you as well, because you played Golden. So right now I'm really enjoying Persona 5, and I was wondering if Persona games are kind of similar to, like with the Dark Soul games, what a lot of people will say is like your first Dark Souls is your favorite. So like my first one was Bloodborne, so I immediately loved that. But other people I know who started with like Demon Souls or Dark Souls, they enjoy those ones.
Nobody
This
says
person-
Demon Souls their favorite one.
I know a guy who likes Demon Souls the most. I'm like, do you
Ew,
like the clunky controls? And they
plays so
said
bad.
that they just had never played anything like that when it came out.
Now,
I don't know, man.
for Persona, I actually I don't think that that's true. I think that you can see different ones you like more, because I think Birch, would you say 5 is your favorite now? And that certainly wasn't the first one you played.
So I played I played Persona 4 first.
Mm-hmm.
Then I played Persona 3, and then I played 5. I can say 5 is probably my favorite of them.
I would honestly probably place them all in the exact same spot. Like each one, I guess, like
it's damn close.
it's so close. Like the characters are all, every single game has like characters you're like, man, I could just use a Persona game with all these characters in it. Like a lot of the characters have the same personalities or are very close. But my favorite is, it's probably still 3, just for
it's good.
total story on 3 I like the most. I think you'd probably like 4 the most, Phil. I don't know. I think you'd like the whole murder mystery storyline behind it.
I think it's too happy for him. Like the soundtrack, I feel is also what's helping Phil.
I don't know about too
like
happy.
The Persona 4 soundtrack is so poppy, like where 5 is jazz and like smooth jazz and stuff like that. Persona 4 is like pop, like J-pop, so it's much more like in your face happy. And Persona 3 is like R&B, so like they always have a theme for music and stuff like that. So I feel like 3 you would actually enjoy the soundtrack more, I feel like, than 4. Like we both joke about Dance Puts You in a Trance, like that song is fantastic.
Very good.
But Persona 5 has my favorite soundtrack.
I think the biggest
almost
thing you'd
in
have
video gaming history.
The biggest thing you'd have difficulty with is probably just going back to playing something like 3. A lot less voice acting. You know, the game's not quite as refined. Obviously, it's like the sick battle system and menus from 5 and everything. But
the biggest thing against 3 is you can't control your party members.
That's weird.
You can.
They're AI controlled. You set them to like Gambit, and so basically, like Yukari, you would set her to heal. And then her focus would be like damage, but then if you're low, heal you or cure you.
Birch, I hate to tell you this, I think Phil would like that. I'm pretty sure Phil played like that for the first while in Persona 5. Do you still play like that in Persona 5, Phil?
Not... Do you control everybody?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Okay, good. I just think in 3 it wasn't good. I found like if Yukari she was wind, right?
Yes.
It's been a while since I played 3.
Garu.
She wouldn't ever wind. She would be like, "I'll heal you. You're full health," and I'm like, "Fuck, stop."
Well, that's when they came out with when they came with the 1 edition, right? Then you had the option to change them.
Yeah.
But then you also didn't have the option to walk around.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. It was 3. It was still really. I liked the overarching
story. That was
story.
the PSP one.
Yeah, I like the story in 3 the most probably. But that's just a personal preference.
I still think Cam should pick up 5. Like, why don't you just pick up like the $20 version of 5?
Because he knows there's a better version of the game out, and he might as well play.
Today I literally stared back and forth between the regular and the digital deluxe for Final Fantasy for 15 minutes because I couldn't decide. I know that what was in the digital deluxe wasn't worth the extra $30, but knowing that there's something better out there that I could have just bought, it still gets me.
If it was physical, I would buy that because I would want the art book. I would want the soundtrack, but I don't want a digital soundtrack, and I don't want a digital art book. That's the dumbest thing ever. And what was the extra summon? Was it the Cactuar?
There was Cactuar and Carbuncle, I think.
You get the Carbuncle no matter what.
That was just the baby.
No, sorry, you get the baby chick no matter what. The Carbuncle is the only one, and honestly, the Carbuncle's fucking weird looking. It's like a weird corgi.
Listen, I don't care what was in it. I'm just saying I was tempted to because the 2 options are right there. It's the same as like if a new console comes out on the first day with a PS5 and a PS5 Pro. Which one am I buying? You know,
the regular one.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll buy the regular one.
So, okay, what have you guys? We've talked about the games. What have we all been watching? Like, have you guys seen any new series, any new movies, any? Have you just been watching a shit ton of YouTube, anime?
I want to go. I'm gonna go first again.
Okay.
So last night I watched 2 movies.
Yes, I know both.
One of them was fantastic, and one of them was a disappointment.
That's not the first time you saw it, was it?
The first time I ever saw Spirits Within.
That was the first time?
Last night.
That movie sucks.
Yeah. That movie is fantastic and way better than Onward. No, I'm kidding. That movie is a fucking trash fire. Jess tricked me. She's like, "Oh, we should watch like Evan Child." And I was like, "Yeah, we'll watch Evan Child for when 7 comes out. Why not? Like, it's not great." But I'm like, I never saw Spirits Within. She's like, oh, that movie's great. And I was like, I heard it was dog shit. She's like, oh no, those people are like totes lying. And then I watched it, and she's like, JK, it's trash. And I'm like, you
Man,
bastard.
even the Final
like,
Fantasy 15 movie that came with the game was really good. Like, I love that movie too.
Kingsglaive? It was great. See, now this will go past you, but if the Resident Evil, or not Resident Evil, the Final Fantasy movie, like the Spirits Within, if they called it Parasite Eve and made a Parasite Eve movie, would have been fantastic, because it's all about like cells and mitochondria and all that shit. If they called it that instead of Final Fantasy, probably would have been much better.
Yeah, it's
because I'm going in expecting Ifrit, and I think the only references to Final Fantasy is calling Earth Gaia. I think that's
It's been a long time since I saw that movie, but I remember I didn't like it. I thought I would. I watched it on like Anime Freak TV back in the day, like where I used to stream all my anime.
It came out 19 years ago.
But then after that, you watched something better, though.
I did. I watched Onward because it came free to Disney Plus.
Okay, well, we won't talk about how you liked Onward yet, because we'll actually just talk about Onward after we finish this. But true. Yeah, we'll talk about that after. Anything else you watched? Bunch of YouTube? Any anime?
A lot of YouTube. I started watching. He's just a Smash Brother YouTuber, and I've just been watching a lot of Smash Brothers videos.
No animes?
I don't think. No animes. I've been bad. I should tonight, but I think we're gonna watch
on all the Angry Joe's videos.
No, I haven't. Thanks though.
Shout out to Angry Joe.
Just go slip my wrists over in the corner.
Listen, when Angry Joe watches this, he's not gonna be very happy about that.
I don't think he will.
Phil, what about you? What have you watched? You're a TV guy.
I've been pretty deep into Ozark. Me and Christy.
That's the Jason Bateman one. Why is he in
have
everything?
Have you guys seen it?
No.
Why
is he in everything?
Okay. Well, he
because if it's not him or Paul Rudd, and what's the Ed Helms? Is he the other generic white guy?
Well, Ed Helms is not that generic.
People,
okay.
You can replace any three.
I actually love Jason Bateman. I don't care. I feel like he's great in pretty much everything.
Oh,
Me too.
He's very good.
I'm not insulted.
He's in a lot of like these like mystery Netflix shows these days, right? Like, what was the other one he was just in? The Outsiders?
The Outsider, which is on HBO.
Okay.
It's pretty good. But Ozark, me and Christy had watched season 1. Like, I think it was like 2 years ago, maybe. It was quite a while ago, and we watched it. I thought that it was just going to kind of be like an off-brand Breaking Bad show, just because of the premise.
Fair.
We watched the first season. I liked it, but I was like, why would they continue to do this? Like, I feel like the first season pretty much had a great start, good middle, great ending. I'm like, they don't really need to do any more seasons. But then we decided, since we don't really have much else to do, and it's kind of a show that we both enjoyed, to start the second season. Watched the second season throughout the week, enjoyed it a lot. Then the new season just came out. We're about 4 episodes into it, and it's just as good. Like, I think that it might be like, I know that I joked and said that Tiger King was my favorite Netflix original show, but I genuinely think that Ozark might actually be like my first serious.
Just
Netflix
on the topic
show.
of Netflix originals, I will once again remind you guys that my second favorite show of all time is coming out with a new season this month on Netflix. And I'm just saying, if you guys want to check out season 1, now would be a good time.
Is that The Last Kingdom?
It is The Last Kingdom. Uhtred, son of Uhtred of Bebbanburg.
I won't. I'll tell you straight up, I won't.
That's
Listen,
not because I don't
Phil, what do
want
you mean
to,
that's not
it's
for you?
because- No,
So
I didn't say it's not for me.
No, Phil said it's not
It's
for
probably something I would watch. I'm just saying I just won't get around to it. I know I won't.
But it's so good.
So I'm not going to promise you.
I say this every single time, but season 2, episode 3, there's one episode that I've seen it 5 times now, and still every single time it makes me cry, even though I know it's coming. I've seen it so many times. I'm like, yeah, I know this is sad, which means I'll be fine. But every single time, still makes me too sad. It's just the whole show is just so good, and I'm just so excited for this season. I think the show's like
I'm excited for you.
The show's super well received. I think that Mike always points this fact out, where like George R.R. Martin once said, he's like, yeah, that show's so much better than Game of Thrones. He's like the thing is so much more well written than even I wrote like my book, and it's like, yeah, like it's just so true. There's so much character development there, and there's big time skips between every single season. And the only difficult part,
I doubt that it's better than season 8 of Game of Thrones.
The only difficult part with the show is just that because it's based off like a book series, and the main character and all the characters, they age a lot between every single season. Like some seasons they age like 10 years, but obviously they're filming this thing in like direct line. Like it's such a big show that and it's all on location. So once they finish a season, they have like a 3-month break and they go back to filming it. So obviously they can't make the characters that old. So they obviously don't look. I'm like, yeah, this guy is way too fucking shredded and handsome for like a 50-year-old dude at this point. But I mean, whatever.
You don't know. You don't know.
But yeah, when that comes out this month, I'll be really excited, and you will hear a lot of excitement from me. But it's also one of those shows that comes out weekly, so only one episode at a time.
Like The Circle.
Unless they change that because of the quarantine. I don't know, but we'll have to see. Other than that, I've watched some animes. Recommendations. There's a new show that started. This one's mainly for you, Birch. I feel like Phil will have to wait till the show's over to even watch it. I don't think... Could you get into like a weekly episode thing, Phil? Yeah, I didn't think so.
Is it dubbed?
No.
No.
I think it's called God Tower or God's Tower or something like that.
Oh yeah, I heard good things about that one.
Yeah, episode 1 just came out. It was pretty good. I have a feeling it'll be a nice, good, dark series. So
is the reincarnated as a villain one out? Has it started yet?
I don't know. It might have like some super long or different name because that exact name I haven't seen yet.
Yeah, here I'll see what it's called and see if I can find it.
There's a show, Phil, called like ReZero, Starting Life in Another World.
Hated that one.
You probably watched like 4 episodes. You need to get into that show, and it's one of the most like mind-breaking anime. It's pretty simple. It's like a Groundhog Day premise. Main character, like every other isekai, he's a Japanese kid who gets sent to another like a fantasy like world, except for it's not very happy all the time.
Is it dubbed?
Yeah, it is dubbed at this point. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
And every single time this character gets killed, though, he goes back to like the start of like a reset point kind of thing. But there are just so many multiple points throughout the show where like how many times he's died actually starts to like mentally affect him, and you know, like one of the times he comes back, he can't even like speak. He's like a broken person basically because of all the shit that happened before. It's just such a good show. And so I started rewatching that because a new season's confirmed to come out sometime soon. So
maybe I'll check it out with the free time.
Oh, it just says April 2020, so it's soon, but it hasn't come out yet.
Okay, I'll keep an eye. Yeah, there's a lot of anime starting.
My Next Life as a Villainess, it's called. All routes lead to doom.
Ooh. And yeah, other than that, I think I've just been watching a bunch of YouTube still. A lot of cooking YouTube.
That's fair.
A lot of Animal Crossing YouTube videos. You know, guides, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Always stuff to learn. I'm probably done with that now. I think I got most of the guides out of the way. I think I kind of know everything about the game now. It's just like a slow thing.
Fish?
I didn't download the fish yet. No.
Oh, okay, I caught the other 2.
So I guess we'll finally go into. We'll start with one of the topics here. We'll start by talking about Onward, because now finally, officially, all 3 of us have seen it. Because I think Phil, what did we see it on opening day? Or no, we waited a couple days, didn't we?
Ago?
It was a couple days after you saw it.
I think we saw it on Sunday. Yeah, our typical movie night.
Because I think we went to see Sonic on the Friday. I think that it came out, and I think you saw Onward that Sunday.
Remember when we used to see movies in theaters?
Remember when theaters were open?
Like 2 months ago, man.
I missed it.
Remember when we were supposed to do like a Mulan review a couple weeks back?
Man, when did that get pushed back to?
They just announced the date today. So
I think it's spring of next year.
Wait, a full year?
No. Oh wait, maybe it's June or July. Maybe I'm wrong.
I feel like pushing that back a whole year at this point might be a little risky.
Yeah,
they're moving more that what's that Sony Spider-Man movie with Jared Leto and Morbius?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, the Morbius one, yeah.
Mobius.
They're pushing that back. They're pushing pretty much everything back, right?
Well, yeah, they have to because nothing can be shown. But I feel like a lot of places would probably just push it back a few months and then maybe see again from there.
Now, do you guys think that Onward being on Disney Plus, because it got pushed up, honestly, for
release,
for digital release, do you think that hurt it or helped it? Because like with all the people at home.
Well, I watched it.
I get, and so he wasn't going to watch it before.
So Mulan is July 20. As of 2 days ago, it got pushed.
Yeah, so it's not that far. No. I think in general it probably helped it because I think Onward at this point was pretty much done all of its theater sales, right? Like it had already done really well in theaters, I'm pretty sure, which is fine.
I don't know if it actually did that well, dude. I don't think that it was perceived that well. Like I think it was pretty mixed.
Really?
I think it sits at about a 7.5 for score. Box office was 1.32 million. Its budget was 1.
Was how much?
Its budget was 175 million, and it only hit 103. Budget or box office wise.
That's weird.
So, I think it probably got cut a bit because of it, but
I mean, it
like
could have.
I watched it.
I just don't know many people had gone and seen it. Like, I don't know many people who were actually interested. And for like a Pixar release,
I also feel like in general,
it didn't really seem well promoted.
All the times we went to the theater recently, we went on like a few days past release on like a Sunday, and it was always dead. Like every single movie we saw.
I was about to say, was your theater full or was it empty?
No, like it was same with like Sonic though. Any movie we've seen recently went like 3 days after release, and there's been like us plus like 4 other people, like for every single one.
People were pre-panicking.
I don't know.
I think that the theaters just aren't doing well to begin with. In the States, they have kind of a cool program where I think the AMC theaters, you pay a certain it's like $20 a month, and you get like a pass where you can see unlimited movies.
That's how pretty cool.
Yeah, that's
and
how
those
they're
are good theaters
combating
too.
it. Cineplex honestly needs to do that. If Cineplex did it, I think that a lot more people would be like, hey, we already paid the $20. We want to do like a night out. Let's go see this movie.
Yeah, they'd be busy
And
because
then-
someone's like already paying for it. So they're like, well, we might as well just go see every single movie that's out. Like, since we're paying for it, we want to get our full money's worth.
And you're gonna make the money off of concession. That's where
absolutely.
they're gonna make their money.
Yeah, because it's a gajillion dollars. So we'll start by saying we'll talk about Onward here, and there will be spoilers because we're going to talk about the ending and that kind of stuff. It's a pretty important part of the movie. We'll get into talking about the setting though first. I'm excited for most of Birch's opinion because obviously I was with Phil and we talked about it after because we weren't sure if we'd be able to do a podcast on it because we had to wait till it came out, and at that point we didn't know it was going to come out so early. But in general, it's set in like it's
modern time,
modern fantasy,
but a fantasy modern time.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I mean is a cool concept. I like the beginning where they kind of do like the timeline of when everything was super magical and then slowly elevating up, One guy works on his fire spell.
And then the guy sits there with the light switch. He's like, this is so easy.
And he drops his staff. He's like, too much work. Yeah, and then obviously just skips ahead and there's like the unicorns as raccoons and stuff like.
That was terrifying.
Yeah, I would be scared.
Yeah,
of
like
that.
although it's obviously like a fictional thing, I could kind of see it. Like it seems like what would actually happen if the fantasy stuff was real, and then people discovered technology.
Yeah, because people
I
are
think
lazy.
that was a cool plot device.
It would be exactly how it happened. That's the main setting. One of the big things we'll talk about as far as setting and plot goes. The movie was very D&D focused. Like there's so many references to it.
It's very fantasy focused, and unfortunately D&D is now the leading.
Oh yeah, but I mean in general though, like his
game
like
that they were playing.
the spells he's talking about, all that kind of stuff. Like there's just so much stuff in there, like all the like him going on a quest and all that. Like his game in that was literally just like D&D, except for him though, it's like it'd be like a history game, right? Because that stuff was all happening. Well, for us, it's a very made up game.
It's like our equivalent of Risk.
Yeah, basically, yeah. The actual plot itself, though, obviously the main two characters are brothers. They lost their father when the one kid was just born or right before he was born, so probably like 16 years ago.
Something like that, yeah.
They get the spell to bring their father back for one whole day, and they fuck it up, right? Because they suck at magic.
Well, first it's his 16th birthday, and then the mom had a gift for him when they both turned 16, or were both over the age of 16. So then they get the staff, the gem, and the instruction manual on how to use the spell.
And the general plot is they go on the adventure to, actually fully succeed in the spell to bring back their father, for a beautiful, touching reunion because the one son has never met him, and
they half-assed the spell.
Good one.
I almost feel like the trailer should not have shown that it was only bringing back half of them. Like I know that, that's like
they have to show the plot, unfortunately, to get people to go.
Yeah,
but it felt almost too spoilery to know that they bring them back at that, or like
it's true. So like, to be fair, I think the trailers gave away very little about the rest of the movie. I didn't really know after the whole part where the dad gets half brought back. I really had no idea where they were going with the rest of it.
I never saw a trailer for this movie.
There wasn't
Not a
honestly
single one. I didn't
other
know.
than the dad being brought half back and then like knowing that there's like till the end of the day to bring it back. That was the only thing I knew. I didn't know where they were going.
Yeah.
I didn't know how they were doing it. I didn't know it was like an
There
adventure
wasn't
thing.
too much information about the movie, and that's one of the things going back to, you know, I don't think that it performed very well because it wasn't promoted very well.
Yeah,
It's true.
that's fair. That's fair.
I think that I found the whole movie very funny, but I think that some of the setting too and all that kind of stuff, it might not be as popular with kids as like a lot of the other stuff coming out these days that are doing wildly popular with like all the Disney princess stuff and all that kind of thing. You know, like this age group is a little bit harder to find.
This is more for the, like, let's say it's more for just slightly older than our age who would have played D&D or like been really into fantasy stuff like that, and they wanted to go to the movies and take their kid.
Yeah, like even like this it's very popular these days to have your like awkward teenage boy kind of thing as your main character, but that really affects who your focus is, like who your target audience is, and I don't think that's a big target for a lot of these Disney movies. Isn't like the awkward 14, 15-year-old teenage boy trying to fit in and stuff like that. As you know, cool as it is to start off with like Spider-Man and stuff like that, where it's like one of the main points of the plot. So I think that
The
just
main
had
character kind of reminded me.
I think
You go.
I think
Sorry.
that the whole movie just had trouble finding its target audience, and that might not be why, it didn't succeed as well as maybe they wanted it to.
Well,
That's fair.
even tying into like the older adult audience, in a weird way, I feel like, someone who maybe has like lost their dad or has like an attachment to like parental figures, there's a lot of themes of that. Like there's times where, I even felt a little bit of emotion towards the younger character, not knowing their dad and finally like, trying to meet them. Not that that's not something I personally deal with, but I can see what they were going with there. And, if I was someone who had just recently lost my dad or didn't have a father figure growing up, then I feel like it would be a pretty emotional thing.
Yeah.
And they touched on it really well. And towards the end, I don't really remember what exactly did, but I had like a small towards the end. Like it was pretty emotional.
The characters were done really well. I think all the characters were pretty likable. You were gonna say something about Ian, I think.
Me?
Yeah. Were you just gonna say he reminds you a lot of Spider-Man?
No. I was gonna
Okay.
say he reminds me of Devin,
So I mean, in some ways, yeah, I guess maybe
like a lanky, awkward
that's true.
boy who doesn't speak to people. And no offense, Devin, but
The
I'm just
characters
saying,
in general-
I watched it and I'm like, these are like two of my friends that I know mashed together.
Did Chris Pratt's character remind you of Cam?
Except for less
No.
cool.
No.
Listen, I always just consider myself. I just kind of think of myself as like a young Chris Pratt, so maybe that's just why Phil thinks about it, and that Chris Pratt.
I
Face
think
can
you
make
were more
sometimes.
like the horse cop.
That was actually my favorite character.
He
He
was
was actually kind of funny. Honestly.
The side
Or
characters.
you working or hardly.
The side characters are done really well. Like think of any other movie you can think of where like the mom doesn't just like show up in the beginning to give them the gift and then like she would have came at the end to welcome them back, where she had like her own mini side story going on trying to protect her
There were
sons.
two quests going on. It was her and the Manticore going to get the sword, and then Ian going to get the gem.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like she actually has.
They had like two quests going.
They constantly like
The
show back to her
Manticore-
and stuff like that, and it was kind of cool.
The Manticore, like the restaurant, was hilarious. Like how they basically transformed this once like kind of mystical, magical place, and they commercialized it.
Yeah.
to a
I thought
Chuck E. Cheese.
that was so funny. Like
I like-
they're just
Are you gonna fix the karaoke machine already? And she's like testing, and then she's like, I'm getting on it. And I'm like, it was good.
The comedy in the movie hit for the most part. Like we were laughing a lot, very funny.
There were a lot of parts. It's sad though that I can't remember what parts like I laughed at. Aside from the very end, I probably laughed the hardest when the guy's just like, "Oh, you forgot your keys." He's like, "I don't need keys."
Yeah,
and he takes off his hat
and he's got the long
hair,
mane.
and he gallops down the way. I was like, I don't know why that made me
One of the
laugh so hard,
spots,
but
one of the spots I can
stupid.
guarantee we all laugh at, but this was very situational. You probably had to be us. Was the pawn shop? The lizard lady had the exact same laugh as Phil, like his like You know?
Oh yeah.
They had the exact same laugh, so everyone who we
I
saw,
hear it's one of a kind.
yeah, everyone we saw with was laughing really hard at that one because it's like it's like it's like the same laugh exactly. So we were all having a good time when that one came up. I'm gonna get like a
That's
gif
funny.
of that now that
That's
the movie's out and use that all the time. But yeah, the characters were super well done. Like Chris Pratt and Tom Holland both did a crazy good job.
They did really well, and I honestly hope that they make some sort of sequel or something else in the same universe.
They could do a TV show.
They could do a lot of things.
I feel like they could do a TV show like this because every Disney movie now comes out with like there's like multiple seasons. I'm pretty sure of a Tangled TV show.
Yeah, that's true.
Not Overwatch. Jesus, I'm thinking
Big Hero 6.
Frozen has like a bunch of other stuff as well. That's like sub.
How'd you mix up
OVAs?
Overwatch and Frozen?
Because I was thinking Onward, like an and then
I thought you meant Big Hero
different
6 because that's much more like Overwatch, and that also has a TV show.
And it also does have a TV show.
So that's where I thought you were going with that.
Came out.
I mean, they could do a lot of things.
I don't know.
Like when Ian hits like 18, they could go on like a different kind of quest before he graduates to college or something like that. Like, there's lots of options. Like, let's be honest, the world's pretty open.
And I'd be interested in them revisiting it. That's why I just hope that it was successful enough for Disney and Pixar to actually be like, hey, let's give this another shot.
Question. Do you guys think that those characters were specifically designed around having Tom Holland and Chris Pratt?
Kind of,
because Disney has the money. They can get whoever the shit they want.
I feel like they could have put Chris Pratt's character as anything. Like, it didn't specifically have to be Chris Pratt. I feel like there were a couple people they could have.
But like with their pre-existing connection to him already, you don't think that when they're making this thing, they're like, oh yeah, we'll probably have someone like Chris Pratt play this guy, like, he'll nail that perfectly. This kid's definitely going to be Tom Holland, like, while they're like designing the movie kind of thing. Because at this point they already have them in the Disney universe.
They could have swapped it with anybody though. They could have done like freaking Seth Rogen and Michael Cera. Who knows? Like,
I don't know if that would be as popular.
Whoever they want. No. I'm just saying, like, it didn't need to be those two, but the dynamic worked really well.
Yeah. Who was your guys' favorite character?
Chris Pratt.
I almost want to say the Manticore.
The Manticore was cool.
I did like the Manticore.
Actually, one thing I really liked about the plot in general and the characters is that, like, there were no like school bullies or anything. Like, I guess there was the one kid that was kind of a bully, like the big ogre kid or whatever he was. But like in a typical high school movie, when he would approach like the group of friends kind of thing, they'd be mean or something like that. But they were all like super nice, like, yeah, man, we'll come to your birthday party, like, no problem. Like, it was all kind of in his head.
They kind of flipped that, yeah.
Yeah, like it was just in his head, right? Like, he's the reason that he's uncool is just because like he can't like put himself in these situations. But all the people were super down. They're like, oh yeah, of course, man. Like, that sounds dope. And then at the end, he's friends with them. And
changing my favorite character.
Is it the horse guy?
It's definitely the stone dragon at the very end.
You liked the stone dragon?
Where he you think it's gonna be a menacing dragon, and he turns his head,
and he's got like the mascot face, yeah.
And it gets the angry eyebrows. That was great.
So the final thing we'll talk about with the movie is the ending. I think the ending is something that people are really impressed with. It kind of takes you for a loop, if you know what part I'm talking about.
I know exactly which part you're talking about.
The saddest thing to me in the entire thing had nothing to do with even Ian. It was more like the backstory with Chris Pratt's character and the father. Because that, and then like whole thing, like the whole part about, obviously we can kind of see this coming when they started making the list and that kind of stuff, and slowly they started doing everything on the list. But like it was like a sick, like, road trip kind of movie, which is not something I expected when I saw the trailer. Like, most of the hijinks and the fun was just the two brothers on this like road trip. It's like watching like, what are some good like road trip movies? What was the Zach Galifianakis
Sonic the Hedgehog?
No, I mean, yes,
Date?
Yeah. I loved Due Date so much.
That movie is actually super underrated.
When you have two characters that are really well developed and you put them in like a road trip kind of scenario, it just works really well. And this movie kind of did that.
There was
and I wasn't
one with
expecting it.
Gerard Butler and Jennifer Aniston that was really good. I can't remember what name the movie was, but it was actually really funny.
Bounty Hunter or something.
I think it was Bounty Hunters. I think you're right.
With the ending, I felt some type of way. Ian realizes that Chris Pratt's character has always been there for him.
Like he's his father figure. But not only that, but like the surprise about like him.
He really cares about him.
Even as the audience, the fact that you don't actually get to see the father at the end when this whole movie's building up to it, only Chris Pratt's character gets to see him, and Ian just has to watch like a rock. Like they chose to never actually like, and we've seen his character before, so it wasn't like a surprise what he looked like. He just looked like an elf version of John Krasinski. But in general, though, like even as the audience, we didn't get to see that moment. We didn't get to hear the moment. Like it was just we were in Ian's shoes where it was too far away.
Who was it? Someone we were with. I don't remember if it was Matt. Noah.
Matt was mad.
But one of them was like, "Man, this movie's terrible. They didn't even show who
that was Matt for sure. I remember that. He was like, "They don't even fucking show him." I'm like, "But we've already seen him before. We know what he looks like. It's not a surprise. It's just it's like the angle they went with."
The whole point of this is to like appreciate what it's for Ian to realize that Pratt has always been there, who's always taken care of him, who's always had his best interest, and he's lucky to have him. And I think that it makes you. It just made me feel some type. I was like, that's a really good message to people.
Going back, because I didn't give you guys my real answer, the main reason Chris Pratt's character is my favorite character is because I thought there was going to be this plot where he was jealous. Like, obviously, he's the one who's all into this. He's the one who's been, like, training for this his whole life to get the magic and that kind of stuff, and his brother's the one who's given it, and he's never once jealous. He goes immediately into being so happy for his brother and teaching him all these ways, and it's just like, I was expecting there to be this secret plot line where he's kind of a little bit mad or a little bit upset that, he wasn't the one who got all this. They're both brothers. They're from the same father, but he got none of it. And he's the one who's like, he's so into this kind of stuff. And his brother's like, I don't even like this shit. Like, yeah, he was just such a good role model, such a good brother. And, his part was the saddest one. I think they were on the cheesy at the time, where he talks about how he does have one different, like the one other memory from his dad and is like him not going kind of thing. And it was good.
It might be typecasting, but that's two characters Chris Pratt watched their parent on a death support bed,
and they didn't go to see them either because he didn't go to see his mom, didn't he? He ran away instead in Guardians.
Sure.
Yeah. Typecasting. He's always typed as the bad kid who won't see their dying parent. But no, the ending. The ending I thought was really good. It was a stylistic choice to not even let the audience kind of see what they're saying and just have Chris Pratt's character recite it back, kind of stuff. But it worked really well.
What's your overall rating?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you go.
Overall rating, I'll give it a 8.5 out of 10. It's definitely, I'd have to think more deeply into it, but it's by far in my top 5 favorite Pixar movies, like Disney Pixar.
I'd probably give it a 9 out of 10, honestly, which is like a super high rating for me, and I'd put it in my top 3 Pixar movies.
I'm probably gonna end up watching it again tonight. It's been it hasn't been that long since we saw it. But in general, too, there's always that section. You want to figure out if it was a lot of movie magic or if it's just like the quality of content. And for most animated movies, since they can't really shock you with these like super good CGI scenes and battles and that kind of stuff, I find most of the time it stays more true when you're watching it later. But I'm going to watch it again just in case.
Moment watching it, whereas I can't wait for this to be over, or like I don't know, maybe it's like the acting or the animation or that it's Pixar, but I just feel like they really hit the nail on the head with the movie, and I'm impressed.
Now you have a real fresh opinion. What are you giving it, Andrew?
So I'm giving it a solid 8.5, like 8.5 to 9, anywhere in that safety net. I think it's going to age well. In fact, I think it'll age better than some of the other ones because it's not referencing, a thing now. It's doing fantasy instead, and I think that'll be kind of more timeless.
And fantasy just comes in and out of popularity too. Like D&D made a big resurgence in the past like year, 2 years kind of thing. So it was kind of an interesting topic to go with. The next one coming up is Soul is the next one, but who knows when we're getting that is the next Pixar movie.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I don't think I'll like it.
And they're promoting that pretty heavily too.
Is that Jamie Foxx? Was that one with Jamie Foxx? Am I thinking?
I really like the look of it until he dies and he becomes the little like cartoon figure kind of thing.
It just looks like Inside Out.
I know that's
what I was just gonna say.
That's the same issue I have with Inside Out. Like I understand the movie's deep and all that kind of stuff, but I hate like the cheesy cartoony characters. As an adult, anyways, I like watching something that I don't know makes me feel more adult.
I liked Inside Out a lot, actually.
Yeah, it was good.
I think it's a great movie and good message. I'm excited for Soul. I think it'll be really good.
It is Jamie Foxx.
If it ever comes
but it
out.
makes me mad that they're promoting that so heavily, like a year in advance, and they didn't even like give Onward the time of day.
Yeah,
because I think this is going to be more their moneymaker, where I think they probably gave this to the A studio and did Onward to the B studio. Like someone at Onward or at Pixar is probably like, "Hey, I want to make a big dumb nerd movie," and they're like, I don't know. Is it going to be emotional? And they're like, we can make it emotional. And then
And I got the
Who
two
knows?
perfect people to cast because he knew immediately.
Did Jess and Meg both like it? Kirsty actually said that she really enjoyed it when she came out of the theater.
Meg liked
Jess
it a lot.
it. When we finished it, we were like, "That's only an hour and 50 minutes."
Yeah.
It felt much longer, but in a good way.
Wasn't that one of the
Peter
movies
Jackson, where it felt...
Wasn't that the movie that Christy really didn't want to see every time we talked about going to see it, or was that a different one?
I
feel like it was that
she
one.
was just kind of like, oh, we can go see that, but she had like no hype around it.
I mentioned this to Jess when they first announced it was coming to Disney Plus. I was like, "Oh, there's like a cool fantasy, almost D&D style movie coming from Pixar, and it comes to Disney Plus early." She's like, "I don't know. Like, I don't think I want to watch it." And then we watched it last night. And yeah, she liked it.
Yeah, I'll be watching it again tonight for sure. Probably while I cook dinner or something. Okay, so now we're gonna get into the big news. Y'all down for news?
Need or not news, boyos.
Oh, online need or not? I still need a sound effect for this.
You do. You need a soundboard for it.
Okay, Andrew, you're gonna be our news lead like normal.
Nice. So we're gonna start with sad news for me and Phil. The Last of Us 2 has been delayed indefinitely until they figure what's going on.
I'm kind of sad like a date that they're at least going to hope for, because apparently the game's done. It's just like logistically they don't want to put it out because they don't know how it'll ship, and they're like fixing bugs. So they probably had like a day one patch. It was probably going to go gold soon, and they were just going to like finish everything up and release the day one patch. But I mean,
I hope it gets delayed permanently.
It will not. I think it's Sony execs going, maybe we shouldn't release a game about a post-apocalyptic virus or fungus that has wiped the world out during a almost similar scenario. So it could be a PR thing where they're just like, you know what, we're going to let this blow over. It'll come out next year when everything's all happy and we're like, oh, remember coronavirus? Like they'll just...
Well, you also have to ask a couple of things. So number one, they could release it digitally, but how would that affect their relationship with GameStop, with Best Buy, with Walmart? Like, that's basically taking money out of pockets because the game's going to sell well. Yep. The other thing you have to ask is like, are they going? How mad would people be if they put it just as a PlayStation 5 exclusive? If they push it back, I know that it's a small percent that they'll actually do this. But what happens if they just port it to PlayStation 5, make it an exclusive because they don't really have anything huge right now?
I don't think they will, because the system's going to play all PS4 games.
As much as a gamer, I'd hate it. Most big games they honestly should push back anyways, just so that like the gaming industry isn't destroyed. Like as much as I hate it, like I'm very glad they didn't do that with Final Fantasy, obviously. But like as we talked about,
it was already done by the time.
Yeah, and as we talked about, we have enough games in our backlog and stuff we can always play to enjoy that we'll be fine no matter what. And then there's always online games you can play infinitely and stuff, but we just don't want the whole industry to be destroyed within the next year.
Well, the other thing you have to think about too is who is going to spend 90 Canadian dollars on a new game in May, like at the end of May. A lot of people aren't sure if they're going to be able to pay their bills, pay their rent. Spending $90 on a new game is not really at the top of most people's priority list. No, right now we're kind of in the beginning of it still. So Final Fantasy and Animal Crossing and Doom and stuff, they're going to sell all right because people are bored at home. But almost in June, I don't know if people are gonna.
But that's like the equivalent of asking like who on like a welfare check is gonna or unemployment's gonna go spend money on alcohol or smokes or stuff like that, right? People always buy stupid shit.
All of them.
That's what I'm saying. Like even when you're on unemployment, people are still gonna buy dumb shit, even though they shouldn't, because they're like, hey, I don't know how long it's gonna last. I don't know how much money we have. People are always gonna make dumb choices.
But there's a lot of different things at hand, because some of the people who are on unemployment, not to say that people who are on disability or anything don't know how to manage their money, but some of the people who are unemployed, they're families. Like they're people who are used to making a certain amount of money, but they're just trying to keep themselves, afloat. And spending $90 if you have financial on a game like that might not, it might result in things not selling very well. I think it's a different demographic than the people who are buying alcohol or cigarettes when they're getting their checks. I think that's the thing. I know that I'm super excited for The Last of Us, but if I'm not necessarily working at that time, even if I'm making the same amount of money that I'm making now, I don't know if I would spend another $90 on a video game just because it's not appropriate.
I mean, yeah, it's the same thing as I said with Persona. Like, as much as I know I'd like Persona 5 Royale because I played a lot of Persona before, buying 2 games right now, especially both at $80 within like a 2-week period, maybe like one game every few months if I have to limit it down with the money and stuff. But yeah, not the smartest decision.
Yep. So I'm gonna say not neat that it got delayed, but
I'm gonna say
play it
very neat that it got delayed. I hope it keeps getting delayed indefinitely until it's dead.
It's not neat, but I'll be happy to play it when it comes in, and I understand. I'm not mad.
The next ones are a little quicker. So the one here, the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 remaster just came out.
People like Modern Warfare 2, right?
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing about it, though.
But it's also cheap.
How much does it
I
cost?
think it's $29.
Well, that's not bad.
I mean, if that's your thing, like I've played the Modern Warfare 2 campaign, I like it.
Is it just the campaign, or is it online?
No, it's just the campaign.
Just the campaign.
What I think they'll end up doing is whatever iteration of Duty comes out, Call of Duty does come out this year, they'll just tack on the multiplayer. Or I think I've read that they're going to, or they already have, added the maps to the current Modern Warfare. But I think the smart thing to do, if like I'm an Activision executive, would be like, hey, you guys really like Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer? Here's Advanced War 2, the game that you all fucking hate. Let me just make you purchase the multiplayer with this other game.
Well, they did that with the Infinite Warfare one, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, with
Modern Warfare, the remake with it. Yeah.
Clearly, they need to stop making futuristic Call of Duty games because people just do not like them.
It's 50-50. Some people do, some people don't. It's like the Halo people like it, the Call of Duty people hate it. So
there's always I feel like there's always a better shooter game with the futuristic like shit than the Call of Duty ones. So you can just play that instead.
I'm gonna say that's not neat, just because I know that they're gonna figure some cash grab way to make people pay for the maps.
I'm just gonna say that's not neat because I don't care about Call of Duty. So
that's fair, except Warzone. So yeah, that's not neat. The next one, it's not so much news. It's just Persona 5 Royale and Resident Evil 3 came out. So I want to play both those games.
That's neat. Bad time for them, but it's neat.
Resident Evil coming out is kind of funny though, being a like virus apocalyptic thing. It's just funny.
We could be living Resident Evil soon.
I'm sad because I won't be able to play it till my brother buys it, because he is buying it and then he's coming over and we're going to play it.
So never.
I have to wait for this lockdown.
2 years before you're allowed to hang out with somebody.
As someone who, I think I got Resident Evil 2 like within a week of release, and I played through it, and I controversially would say I beat it, but you guys might not say I did.
That's a good joke.
I'm looking forward to picking this up. A lot of what I've seen online is people actually just be very frustrated with the game. And you might be able to provide some insight on this, Andrew. But a lot of people are upset because it's only like a 10-hour game. They said that there's some stuff that was taken out of the original game that's not in the new one, obviously.
They took out some dumb stuff, is all. Like, they took out some...
Wasn't 2 super well received? Like the remake for 2?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, 2 was amazing.
You can beat Resident Evil 2 in... If you've played it, you can beat it in... I think the speed run's like an hour and 50 minutes. Even if you know the game, you can beat it in 2.5 hours.
Then what's Phil's reason for not beating
3 hours,
it?
Maybe. If you don't know the game, you're looking at a 5-hour game. So why aren't people that now? I bet you it's people during the virus. They're like, "Oh, if I'm going to buy an $80 game, like I want 100 hours out of it." Is probably.
They should have bought Animal Crossing.
So I don't know the stuff they've taken out per se, because I'm trying to stay blindish from it as much as I can for an old game. But I'm going to pick it up eventually.
And Persona 5, I'm glad that they released the Royale Edition. I'm a little sad that I didn't just wait. I feel like I've invested too much time into this version of it, and I don't want to spend more money.
Cam, can you go back to one of the original podcasts where I said, "Phil, wait for the Royale Edition"?
I mean, to be fair, he only spent $20.
I know, but still,
It looks like I watched a non-spoiler review, and
Mhm.
it looks really good. I don't really know a lot of the major differences. I don't know what they really added, but I feel
The-
like stylistically they kind of they enhanced a
yeah,
couple of different things. But you know what?
that's done for a reason. Sorry, the enhancing, because the
Yeah.
last game is technically a PS3 game.
Yes.
It came out on PS3. This one's running on a PlayStation 4, so they've done stuff to make it run like it should on a newer system
Now,
instead of an old gen system.
when's it coming to Switch? That's the question.
You know what? I was gonna say never, but it's at this point, who the fuck knows?
As I said,
End
with
of 21.
our reaction to in the reaction to the Nintendo Direct, now that they have Catherine running on Switch, I think that it's possible.
At least giving us the Persona 3 FES edition and Persona 4 Golden on Switch would be a good start.
Give me Golden. I'll buy that day one. I will.
Yeah.
So if they even if they put
100%.
Golden up for $79, people would buy it day one still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have it for my Vita TV. It's somewhere over there.
I have it on Vita and PlayStation 2.
But yeah,
that's a neat, I guess.
That's a neat.
Once again, bad timing for everything, but not their fault.
How
The next
well
one,
do you,
they're kind of. Oh, sorry, you go.
I was going to say, how well do you think these games are actually going to sell right now?
Well, Persona being the niche, weird RPG that it is, I think it'll sell exactly what they think it's gonna. Maybe a little less because of not physical, but it's not like, Call of Duty Bro goes down to the store and be like, yo, man, I want Persona. That's not the case. It's very much the guy who's like a big dumb weeb and likes his big dumb weeb shit, or someone who's experimenting with new RPGs who are going to buy the game. It's not for everybody.
What's the percentage you think that of people who played Persona 5 and just getting this one?
Who have played Persona 5 and getting
Yeah.
Royale? 70%.
Okay.
So my big question about Persona 5 is, when are you getting your copy?
Hopefully Tuesday. Because I really want that collector's
Who are they
edition,
using to
so-
deliver them? Did they tell
No
you?
idea. Nope.
I know, for instance, I'm going to be ordering something on Amazon today, and they say right on the thing that could, unless it's like what they consider an essential item, that could be taking so long. Like, we'll have to wait and see exactly how long it takes. But it's also not something I need right away, so I'm not too concerned. But
No, that's fair. The next one's pretty straightforward and pretty obvious. Switches are sold out everywhere.
why?
One thing I can talk about with this is I
What,
saw
the Owen Sound yard sale
like
thing?
on one of the yard sale sites that I'm on, someone was selling a Switch Lite for $300.
More expensive than an actual Switch Lite.
Like, used
Now, it
Switch
came
Lite.
with a screen protector, though, good sir. So
But he said less than 2 hours of play on that. He was like, less than 2 hours of play. It's like, what would to only put 2 hours on it to just go meh?
maybe he bought it for the
Like-
specific reason of like being like, I guess then if he did that, he would
No, I
have
think
kept
it
it
said
new.
the screen was too small.
Yeah,
I think
that's what it said in the
about on
thing.
it,
Yeah.
but still, $300 is a little much. Yeah, that's after taxes. You still want to get your money back, but like,
Because
it's not gonna happen.
at least locally, where else would people buy Switches? At least here, because we just had a situation with the Walmart here, and the rumor that
Shout out to
is
Owen
going
Sound
around is that
Walmart.
they're going to cut off the electronics section. I don't know if that's true or what they're going to do, but I mean, if no one can buy Switches, if no one can buy consoles, I know that I was talking to a few of the different like employees of the game stores in the area, and they said that before they shut down, it was just bananas, like Black Friday, Boxing Days, like level days where
People
were just...
panic buying. They're like, if I'm going to be quarantined, I want 10 systems.
So I mean,
Who knows?
where are people going to buy them? And if some of these people are just like panic buying them or regretting it and being like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have spent $500. There's a markup for Switches. I can sell this.
Yeah.
It kind of sucks because some kid who may actually want to play it is ripped off, but
I mean, that's life with anything, right?
Mhm.
There's always a kid who genuinely wants something and someone out there who's buying it to make a profit. With concert tickets, with, anything collector's
Good old
editions, all that kind of
scalper.
stuff. Yeah. It's part of life.
it's disgusting to me.
So that's a
So
not
I'm
neat.
going to say that's not neat.
Because if if you didn't have a Switch right now and you really wanted a Switch, like imagine if you just like were like, oh, I only want my Switch for Animal Crossing, so I'm gonna buy my Switch, maybe like a week after Animal Crossing comes out or 2 weeks after it comes out, just to be sure the game's good. Doomed.
Good one. So next one's really quick. Rogue Legacy 2 was announced. Did any of you play Rogue Legacy?
Yeah, we played
I've
that.
never played it.
Yeah, I didn't beat it because like I didn't care that much. It was a fun game just to
Roguelikes
pick
are
up
hard
and
to beat.
it was a fun game to pick up and fuck around with. Like it was just back in my early
Did you
PlayStation
get
4
it free
days.
for PlayStation Plus?
I didn't get it free
Do
for
you get
PlayStation. I
PlayStation
played
Plus?
for it, but
No, okay.
it was we used every time we'd hang out, we'd
on
turn on that and Star Wars and Splunky and just put on a bunch of different games. We'd take turns with Rogue Legacy.
I believe it is on Switch, Phil. I think it's on sale right now, actually, on Switch.
I personally have never played it,
Good.
but I know that my friend James was really into it. As soon as it got announced, he put it in. I'm in the group chat with him and another guy, and he's like, "Man, I'm excited."
I just remember when I finally got Sir Jarvan the Fourth. That was a big moment in my game.
I remember getting that one. And I was like, "We're done."
It's a league reference,
the
Phil.
next one was that neat? Everybody.
I mean,
Was it not?
I guess like it's one of those things where it depends on what they do with the game. There are some games that you're like, does this need a sequel? Like it doesn't really age. The first one doesn't really age. You could just keep going back and playing it. So I guess it depends on how much new they add.
Yeah,
I think it's
I think it's neat. I always like indie games. I bought a lot more the last bit. My Switch is like full of just digital indie games. I bought Exit the Gungeon. I played it once because I wanted to Enter the Gungeon first, and it's
Yeah, you don't want it
hard,
spoiled
but-
for you.
Yeah, well, no, not even that. I just my brain is like, you have to beat it. Don't do it. The next one is a bigger one, but they announced that, or we've kind of pseudo found out about that Mario remaster pack.
Oh yeah.
So the
I would
one
like
with a
more
bunch of
details on
games
that,
it. Me too.
such as price.
I would like an official post.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from what I've seen, the rumors we're getting a Super Mario All Stars essentially of
Mhm.
64, Sunshine, and Galaxy 1. I don't know what they're doing with Galaxy 2. That might be included in the pack as well, but a lot of the releases are just saying Galaxy. Then they're going to do a new Paper Mario game, which I want to beat Thousand Year Door before, just to know if it is the game for me.
Yep.
And then they're also going to do a 3D World. And for me, one of the only games that I actually liked on played was 3D World. My friend James, again, had that. And one time, me and Christy were over at his place, and we were hanging out with him and his girlfriend. We all got to play a little bit of it. And I actually thought it was a really fun game, and I'll probably pick that up on Switch.
Anything Mario, like I don't need to play Mario 4. It's an okay
I
game.
do.
No, I played it enough times I don't need to, but I didn't play Mario Galaxy 2 enough, and that is Mario Galaxy 1 is my favorite 3D Mario, and Galaxy 2 added a bunch of extra stuff, so like and made it overall I heard it was a better game.
What about
And
Super
I
Mario
need to play it.
Sunshine?
I didn't like Sunshine. It was like I liked some of the things, but I didn't like the backpack, and that's like half the game. So
Maybe you just need to replay it. Maybe now you'll finally get it.
maybe. Who
I'm wondering.
knows?
So there's two things that I'm wondering about this. Number one, it's kind of like Nintendo to do it, but it's kind of not, because Nintendo's done like All Star, and they did like the 4-pack of Zelda games for the GameCube.
Yeah, the Master Quest Edition, yeah.
And them doing this, that's really cool, but it's also kind of weird because they easily could sell all of these games for probably around full price, and
If not at least
get
like
people to buy them.
$49.99 or something like that for each of them.
Yeah.
And it also makes me wonder, are they just straight up pouring them, slapping on some like HD skins, and then that's it, or are
Yes.
they actually going
Yes.
to remaster some
No.
64?
Fuck no.
No.
They're gonna
60
put them all-
remaster any of it?
No.
Nope.
no,
nope.
64 plays exactly
They're
like how
gonna
you
put it
want
on there,
64 to play.
and then you'll be like, "Here's nostalgia, boys," and then they're just gonna let you. That's it. They're not gonna
That's
touch
fine,
anything
though.
up
They don't need to.
because if they touch it up, you'll have that. Oh, Mario 64 was way better.
What
when
if
he
they
was
put the
champion."
What if they put the
they're not gonna fix
3DS
it.
version of Super Mario 64 on there, where you have like Yoshi and all
I'd
that?
be okay with that. I'd be okay with that because I never played any of the other characters. But
That's definitely neat though.
are
Those
you-
are cool games.
Are you guys going to buy it if it comes
Yes.
out?
It depends on
Oh,
when it
okay.
comes out, and once again, like the situation
Sure.
we're in and the price and all that kind of stuff.
because I just figured out that I get Wonderful 101. I think.
That'd be cool.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, but I have Final Fantasy, Wonderful 101, Persona 5, Royale,
You're set.
and I really want Xenoblade, which is potentially in May. So like that's a lot of
I
stuff.
feel like, to be fair, I feel like we're gonna beat Final Fantasy within the first week, even if it's
absolutely.
40, 50 hours kind of thing. It'll be done pretty fast. Maybe it'll be a game I'll try and 100% with the time, like try and platinum
so
it.
excited, man.
Unless there's fucking stupid mini games. God damn it.
Yeah.
Speaking of Final Fantasy VII,
that's where I was going to segue, my buddy. What are you going to talk?
It being released a little bit early.
Physical though, physical
That's
release
fucking
early in Australia.
Stupid. I want it early.
Makes me so sad.
Yeah, like what the hell?
Why do you think Square did that?
I think it was just a mistake.
I think it's also like shipping time because they wanted to try and make it so everybody got it early, but if the shipping was faster, people would, or make it so everybody gets it on time, and if the shipping's faster, people got it early.
They also probably.
So why don't they just release it early?
I know they really should.
Like at this point.
Well, they also probably don't know if some of those stores are going to be open, you know, in the coming days, right? Like something drastically could change, and then those stores in Australia could be closing, and the people who pre-ordered would be kind of SOL, right?
So all of us have
True.
officially bought it digitally at this point, right? We all have it. It's all downloaded on everybody. It's ready to go.
Yeah, mine's completely downloaded, but mine was like it was very slow.
Mine downloaded super fast. I finally turned on my PS4 Pro, and the internet card on it is fantastic.
Nice.
I downloaded not Resident Evil, Final Fantasy, and Destiny 2.
You have Warzone downloaded?
They're all done.
Oh,
all
God.
3 of them.
Wow.
That's over 300 gigs, and it finished in when were we talking about Warzone?
We talked about Warzone yesterday.
Yesterday? Okay,
Yeah.
so I finished Warzone and Destiny 2 overnight.
Well, that's good.
Wow.
And those are both 100 gig games.
Wow.
I am like, because even someone like my friend John Phil, I don't know if this is a chat year, and I don't think it was. He messaged being like, I'm so conflicted. He's also a huge like Final Fantasy fan and Final Fantasy 7. And he's like, I'm so he's like, I'm so conflicted because I want it physical, obviously. He's like, but I want to be able to play it day one. Like he could wait till the 11th and pick it up. Like a local Walmart or something like that. I think they're all still open in London and everything. Yeah. But like he's like, oh, but I want to play it right away. I was like, well, what I recommend is like we all know eventually when all the episodes comes out, there's going to be a full edition kind of thing. Just buy this one digital if you have to, and then one day when that full edition comes out, just buy it with all the physical copies. Like if you really want it.
It's not even like you can threaten to spoil the story on them.
No, that's the thing. He could wait, but like who wants to? Like I'm going to be playing that as soon as midnight hits.
How long have you guys been waiting for this?
The remake's only been like 3 years. It hasn't been that long.
I'll see when it was first announced. It was announced, I think, in 2000.
There were rumors of remaking Final Fantasy VII forever, but like the first time it was actually shown off was not that long ago. I've waited definitely for things for longer, like Final Fantasy 15, Kingdom Hearts 3.
Let's see. Oh no, I want remake. Okay. It's been a while. Like I want to say it was at an E3 when the PS3 first came out. Because they showed it off as a tech demo. I think it was tech demo shown. The game was announced officially in 2015. When was it fake announced?
When was it fake announced? There's been fake rumors about it forever.
2005 is when they had that huge tease. So it's been 15 years.
Phil, you realize your mic's muted. Okay, I can see your mic beeping, so I was like, yeah, I know his mic's muted.
It's honestly, like, obviously for me, I'm not as excited as you guys. Like, I'm pretty excited gameplay standpoint, but I haven't been waiting for this really at all. I'm just excited. After playing the demo, I actually got more excited.
I've discussed it multiple times with multiple people. Like my friend Ryan, for instance, he was the one who first got me into Final Fantasy, but he is the biggest, he is the biggest patient gamer, and he still says he's not going to be buying this one yet. But he said that he finally, he watched the videos and the trailers, and he looked up a lot of stuff on it because he has to do 17 hours of research before he does anything. And he's like, yeah, this game seems to be like really well received so far. Like people really like the balance of gameplay between turn-based and action, like more than 15 or Kingdom Hearts 3 and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, the game played really well. Like the story looks really good, the characters, like the art, all that kind of stuff. Fantastic. I think it'll be pretty good. The only bad part of it, the only bad part of it's going to be having to wait. Like I don't think many people would say Midgar is their favorite part of the game. So it's probably my least favorite part of the game, and we're getting that one first. So
I think the worst part, like this one, at least ends like in a good spot. I think wherever they do the second one, that's going to be a longer.
I know exactly where we're going to end the second one.
Yeah, no, but that's going to be a hell of a wait
for
people who haven't played it. Like
no
Phil,
spoilers. Are you thinking the same thing
like,
of where I'm saying when they end it?
Yeah, I think so.
Like picture like an angel falling down.
Yeah, like a pond.
Yeah, exactly what I'm thinking. Yeah. That's definitely where I think they're ending the second episode for sure.
Yeah.
So, and that's a lot of stuff between the first and second one if they do it. Lots of places.
But is it neat that Australia got it?
Listen, it's neat for them.
You know what? For them, yeah.
It's not neat for me.
It's neat for them, not neat for us. I want physical, but I had to buy digital. There's one joke news and then one actual news thing. This is the joke news. It's just for me and Cam. Bunny Day fucking sucks.
Oh yeah, Bunny Day does suck.
Every time I want to fucking fish, it's an egg.
To be fair, I haven't really been making very much money recently. Like I haven't been as big of a rush because the only thing I have left to do is like my house, or the shop actually still gets upgraded again. But you have to spend so much money in it. I just don't buy that many things in it.
So I had the fish guy show up to my town.
Yes,
like
that
CJ,
sucks. Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna sell so much fish. Every fucking fish was an egg. It was stupid. I hated it. I made no money from him.
Yeah. So Phil, if you didn't know, I'll give you a quick rundown, Phil. So between now and April 12th, or between April 1st and the 12th, is Bunny Day. So it's an event where you get eggs and you craft stuff. Eggs can come in the rocks you hit, the trees you cut, in the trees themselves, in the water you fish, balloons, every single way. But normally the two big ways of making money in this are you either go fishing or you go bug collecting and you trade them into the certain person for more money. But now like 1/3, if not more, of the fish you catch are now eggs. Like, sick. Yes, it's only a specific size, but like nothing, like 200 or something.
Crafting items, so 0, yeah.
Like
cool.
They're garbage. So like, so many people are mad though. Like even when you go to chop your daily wood, you know, normally you get 3 pieces of wood. Now you get like, sometimes I've gotten 2 eggs and then a piece of wood. Like it really just kind of fucks with the whole setup of like your daily tasks, and it's
and the items you use have usage. So like, if you're like, chopping a tree with an axe, or the axe will break. So you just wasted that axe to only get 1 piece of wood instead of the 3.
Maybe they're doing this to slow people down.
Yeah, I guess, but just overall it sucks. Like the Easter event's cool, but I think they should have a way to turn it off. Like if you talk to the bunny and then be like, "Hey, I want a normal game right now." Okay.
Or like or if you get all the stuff, because there's so many recipes and there's so many eggs you need for each of them. Like I think it's like 32 of each.
Have you gotten the guy outfit yet?
No.
I got the dress for girls.
I don't think they have a guy outfit.
Do they not?
Probably not, man. Well, I don't know. I mean, you could wear the girl outfit. It's 2020.
It is true. But yeah, it's not neat. I want this event to be over. The last bit of news is kind of just it's some raunchy pitchfork.
Good old raunchy.
We know our boy Raunchy. Phil actually knows this story better than I do, but basically he says their studio is doing really well right now. Like they did really well off Borderlands 3.
Yeah, good for them.
And basically, Randy is just saying no to bonuses to all the other people in the company.
Yeah, it is a hard time right now.
From my understanding, one of the good things of working for Gearbox is that Gearbox will actually partner with the developers. Like it's a 60-40 split where the developers, if the game does well, then they actually get some sort of bonuses. So essentially, the game obviously is doing well, and to shareholders, they were saying that this is like a $1 billion franchise in the future, that they're killing it with sales, that this is the best-selling game that they've ever done. But when it came time for the employees and the developers to actually get
we could have done a little bit better,
I guess Randy was just like, well, it cost a little bit more expecting, so we need to recoup that. So the money that you were thinking that you were going to get, it's going to be a lot less than that. And some of the employees had made like house purchases, cars, like thinking that they're going to get like a huge sum of money, when in reality they got ripped off. And the difficult thing about it too is, I guess there's a rumor floating around that in 2012 or 2016 or something.
2016,
when they had begun development on Borderlands 3, I guess some of the shareholders gave them a bonus, and Randy took it all for himself.
He really
Nice.
earned it, though, to be fair. The thing is, you should never count your chickens before they hatch. People shouldn't have been out buying stuff before they got their bonus.
Listen, I 100% agree with you, but if some of those people are in the shareholders' meetings or the talk on the floor is like, man, we're just killing it. We're doing so well. This is selling way better than before. Like, with Borderlands 2, you made this much money and we only sold this much beginning. Like, it's double that. Mm-hmm. Hearing those conversations, I mean, some of those people are probably like, wow, like, I'm going to make so much money off of this. But then he just got they got bamboozled.
Bamboozled.
Plain and simple.
So that's a good old not neat for me.
I mean, yeah, not neat.
Neat for Randy.
Yeah, neat for him. Good job.
For Randy.
Two things I do want to discuss as well is, have you been following any of the Resident Evil, Andrew?
The Resident Evil what, sorry?
The Resident Evil news, like Resident Evil 8.
Yeah. To my knowledge, it's got werewolves in it.
Yeah, apparently one of the developers came out and said that Resident Evil purists are absolutely going to hate it, and it's going to divide the fan base. But like what I was talking to Cam about before we started the podcast, and what I wanted to ask you is, like, what is a Resident Evil purist now? Like, is it the people who like 0 to 3?
Well, purists don't like 0.
Or is it the people who like 4, 5, and 6? Is 7's a return to form? Is that something that purists love? Like,
the purist is survival horror. So, like, actually, like, managing ammunition. So that includes, like, Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 2, 3, 4 to an extent. And I would almost say Code Veronica's trash. Don't fucking play it. I would say 7 would actually fall under that as well. Yeah. Where you have, like, 5 and 6, and the, like, Raccoon City, like all the other spin-off trash, like, those games are bad. They're saying it's not going to be you're in one location, like, doing puzzles and all that kind of shit. I think they're aiming more to be similar to 7, but bigger. They
want to make it an open world action RPG.
Who knows at this point?
Arguably, though, like, they've come out with games that are action games. They've come out with just as many action games as survival horror games.
Yeah, they have. Like, honestly, until I see further information, I can't draw the line. Like, if they're making this a first-person or third-person cover shooter, no, don't call it Resident Evil.
They're gonna BioShock Infinite it. If they're gonna make it a shooter with, like, abilities and stuff.
I don't, like, how well did, like, you have a few friends that worked at game stores during the time of Resident Evil 7's release. Like, how well did that sell?
It sold.
Do you know?
I think they said pretty well. Like, I know I bought it right away.
That game was,
and I played it.
So good, man. Like, I love that game.
The only reason I bought it is because I played a demo. Otherwise, I would have been like, I don't need a first-person shooter game. And I don't like the first-person shooter camera angle. I like the over-the-shoulder. This is me being picky. I don't like first-person shooters because I think it's cheating animation-wise. Because really, all you see is your arms. All they really have to show you is your arms. I like seeing that I'm playing a character, not two floating arms pacing back and forth.
But imagine Resident Evil 7 in VR, though. Like, have you got the chance yet?
I played it in VR. It's terrifying. Like, don't get me wrong, but I don't want those style games. I like the, like, slow and steady. Like, you get a random key and you're like, oh, what door did that key use? And then you have to go by and figure out what key the door's for and stuff like that. But
they just did it so well, and I really would love to, like, after how bad 6 was, coming back with 7 really, and Capcom, as we've talked about so much on the podcast, Capcom has just been on such a roll with releasing things and actually understanding their audience and, like, releasing things that people actually like.
They're my number 2 studio right now.
They're just every franchise that
Epic Games.
I just really hope that it's not another game like 6. I really just hope that they see that people love 7, that it was successful, and just kind of go with that, because they really hit the nail on the head with 7.
Yeah, well, let's hope. But we probably won't see any new information until June, and even if it's got dates on it, it'll probably be next year.
Yes.
Because they had to remake this last week. So.
Do you think they'll remake 4?
I hope so. If they just do it like Resident Evil remake, like 1 or 2 and 3, sure, I'll play it. Hell, they could remake 5 if they make it like this. If they make, basically, I don't like to see running in the game unless you're running from something. But in like playing Resident Evil 5, you're like hauling ass the whole game pretty much because they're trying to make it action. I like you creeping around corners, and if something's there, like the enemies feel like enemies rather than fodder. And I think that's what makes the big difference. Because there are limited ammo, and you have to choose not to kill certain zombies and stuff like that in the original. So,
is that it for the news?
That's probably good for news. Yeah.
Okay. Nice wrap up on the news. Obviously, news is still super weird right now. A lot of news is just like game delays. I'm sure there were more game delays that we missed, and I'm sure there'll be more within the next week, but hopefully not. Imagine if Final Fantasy VII got delayed right now.
I think it's impossible. Since somebody already has the physical copy, it's impossible.
Ghost of Tsushima is 100% going to get. I don't understand why they haven't announced it yet. I think Jason Schreiber of Kotaku, someone asked him on Twitter, like, what other games do you think are going to get delayed? And he just said all of them.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, unless they were already because something like Final Fantasy was already like done, ready to be shipped, that kind of stuff, right? It was originally supposed to come out a whole month ago kind of thing. So it was pretty much ready. There was no point in delaying it. Yeah. So I guess lastly, we're just going to get into stuff about the next upcoming week, what we're going to be doing. Are we going to come out with any sort of content, that kind of stuff? Like if there's anything specific you guys are excited for in the next week. Just a little outro talk. A little light discussion after the news.
I think for next week, having a first 5 on Resident Evil is probably good, because it comes out on the Friday.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have more than 5 hours in it. So I think
Resident Evil?
For next week.
You mean
Did I say Resident Evil? I meant Final Fantasy. So I read Resident Evil on the page.
But I'm worried. I'm worried about doing a first 5 where you've already beaten the game. Could be weird.
Yeah, but we can see what's changed, because Phil's not going to know what's new.
That's true.
We will. We'll know what's new. So we'll be like, oh, that joke is new, or that scene is new.
Do you think by Sunday we're going to have a beat, though?
Not Sunday, no, but first 5 hours.
Wait, what? Because what day does it come out? Friday?
Friday.
No, well, it would come out Thursday night.
Yeah, but I mean,
Friday morning.
Realistically, I'll only be playing until probably 2 a.m. on Friday, maybe 3, but...
I probably won't play it till the next day.
We'll definitely have enough for a first 5 on Sunday anyways, for sure.
Yeah.
So that'll be something we'll probably just have. That'll be like our general discussion with Final Fantasy, because that'll be the big thing. That'll be what is all on our mind 2 days after its release. Might be another Animal Crossing video coming out. I have no idea right now. Content's kind of strange with everything going on. Is there any? There's no the thing is, there's no movie releases or anything. No. I mean, I'm just gonna be watching more anime. Is one big thing. I'm starting to watch more anime during the day, just to kind of get away from just sitting chair and everything. Definitely watch the newest My Hero episode.
100% my thing's gonna die phone. So if I disappear, I'll still be in spirit.
You'll still be here in audio at the very least. Phil's gonna try and put some more hours into Persona 5. I'll play a little bit more in Animal Crossing. I'm honestly just gonna play some online games until Final Fantasy comes out. I don't want to start another big game or anything like that.
Man, just play Spider-Man. It'll only...
It's 15 hours.
Yeah, but I can't, because
you can beat it by
Meg's playing Horizon so much, though. Literally, other than when she goes to bed, when she goes to bed, I start watching...
at night.
I start watching anime at night, though. I can't get rid of my anime time.
He doesn't want to get out of his anime.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for me for the next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing special. Just going to be keeping up on some TV shows, rewatching The Office right now. One thing while we eat and stuff like that too.
Time, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've still never seen it just episode for episode, but I think I've seen every episode at this point, just in odd times.
Overall,
yeah,
it's like me with Friends. I've never watched the whole thing, but I've seen episodes, the whole show.
Yeah,
throughout multiple tries.
I've actually started cutting season, just because, half cutting season. Yeah, and started doing more daily push-ups and that kind of stuff, because I can do them without being injured. I should do more physio exercises. Should go for more walks, but we'll see how that goes. I can't really stand that much. Just because like
Yeah.
the hardest part about doing cutting season is like food, like meal prepping for all the days you're at work, and just being at work. Sometimes you're so bored you just want to eat. So like it should be easier for me to do it at home. I remember a lot of times I did like my longest fast, like when I did my 72-hour fast, is because I was off for like 2 to 3 days, and it's so much easier to entertain yourself and not think about food while you're at home. But yeah, I'm gonna half try. There'll probably still be like, you know, I won't be doing like only egg whites for breakfast. I'll be mixing in regular eggs and English muffins and stuff, but everything else in general will be a little healthier, just
somewhat
for fun.
more interesting.
Just for fun. Obviously, there's a lot of worry right now about the whole like wedding situation. For instance, there's every March there's the wedding band sale, which was obviously canceled, and now DC Taylor's called the other day and said they might not be doing it until June or July. And that's so late that we might not be able to order wedding rings from there in time. So if we have to, then we'll have to buy it from People's, which I don't know. I don't know about you guys. I don't really like People's that much. But you do need a wedding ring for your wedding. So it's just stupid. And like that's just the first thing. There's going to be so many more things. Like who knows how long until we get a call from the actual venue being like, hey, we're not doing them anymore this year. Like you can get your wedding pushed back to like this day or kind of thing. Like you never know.
It's gonna happen at this point, and I'm not being a pessimist, but it's gonna happen.
It depends on
the
how
whole
long.
world's
Like,
shutting down. Who knows?
I mean, I like to be optimistic that things are going to be the third week in October. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see how things go. Like I've kind of come to the conclusion that even if things are mostly sorted out, I don't think that My Chemical Romance will do.
No.
Which I'm fine with. You know what? As long as my ticket is still valid at another date in 21, 22, I don't care. As long as I'm seeing them, I don't care.
That's true.
Well, that's good too, because you have a wedding to go to anyways that time. So like now you'll be able to successfully go to that, because that's what everyone wants to do right now is travel to Jamaica for your sick wedding.
Yeah. So anyway, at the end of the day, I'm excited for this to kind of finally be dealt with.
Yeah.
And just go from there for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we try not to talk about it too much on the podcast, other than the fact it kind of affects every single thing we talk about. So there's like that little bit that creeps in. But yeah, I mean, we're not like doing our weekly COVID-19 updates on the world and stuff like that. But it's very hard to completely ignore.
I feel like people underestimated it definitely now than what people thought it was going to be.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like every single person I knew underestimated it. There was like all of a sudden one day you came into work and you were just like tweaking out. Oh, Andrew, you super underestimated it. Yeah, the only person I think who underestimated more than you is actually Jesse. If you talk to Jesse, he was just like, man, everyone's just being fucking pussies. Like this shit's so like nothing's even happening. No one's even sick. Like
yeah, who knows?
And then it goes into like 300 people dying a day in some countries. Like shit's escalating. But that's fine. We try not to get into too much death topic. But yeah, definitely weird, strange time to be living in right now. Probably the weirdest thing that's happened in, like in my lifetime when you think about it on the grand scale of things, right?
It's
like
historic, man.
Yeah, what kind of stories you can be telling about like your Corona time to your grandkids and stuff like that? Like I stayed inside and played Switch and watched the animes.
Bye everybody, my phone died.
Bye Video Andrew. I think that's okay, because I think that's pretty much the end of the podcast anyways, unless you guys have any closing remarks.
I got nothing.
Okay, well then we'll follow up just by saying thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Localplayonly. Phil's our main Instagram guy. We're probably going to try and do more Instagram content. I don't know, maybe some polls of what kind of things we should talk about. We're always in need of ideas these days with everything going on. YouTube, obviously, follow us on YouTube. You'll be watching this on YouTube, so you're right there beside the subscribe button, so you might as well just click it, because it's already there.
Might as well.
You might as well click it. We've been debating switching over to something like Twitch for streaming. As we do that, we'll update in the future. We haven't really decided yet. Gotta look at a few more things. But Phil streams pretty often. We're gonna try and get some sort of group game going now that Andrew finally has Warzone. Maybe it'll be that. Maybe we'll play something else, and then we're obviously gonna have some sort of content for Final Fantasy VII. So just keep an eye out. If you hit the subscribe and the bell notification, it'll tell you. So just do that for us then. Other than that, once again, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Have a good night, guys. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Goodbye.
Bye.
Take care.